Do you know a fact that every 40 seconds there is a suicide? Yes, every 40 seconds. And it's about like 800,000 in 10 years? No. In 5 years? No. Every single year, according to World Health Organization, every single year there are 800,000 suicides, and for every single suicide there is 20 failed attempts. Do you believe this? This criteria is very, very massive. Every single death, that is 20 persons attempting a failed suicide. Can you just imagine? What is the cause? What do you think will be the reason? Depression. First of all, we should have a clear idea what is stress and what is depression. Stress is a normal reaction to everyday pressure on different things of your life. It becomes very lethal when it affects your normal routine. So now let's see what depression is. Depression is a serious but a common medical illness which affects your day-to-day routine, like how you feel, how you think, how you act, and you no more enjoy your normal routine things which you usually enjoy the most. And when depression is at a higher rate, where you are even ready to commit suicide, when you get suicidal thoughts, it's chronic depression. According to DSM-5, depressive disorder is something when you are feeling sad, empty, and you no more enjoy your normal things which you usually enjoy. In simple words, stress can be a very limited. Stress is a very small level. Like you get stress every day because it is of everyday pressure. When you have work, when you are given a timeline, it gives you a stress. When you have a unit test coming and you haven't covered even 50% of it, you have a stress. When you have a baby, that's a happy thing, right? When you have a baby, and when you think, how am I going to fund his tuition? How am I going to make money for his future? That's also a stress. That's a positive stress. And if you're already in the deadline and you haven't completed a project, that's negative stress. You know that. When stress builds up to a next level, it becomes depression. Depression is a common thing, but depression is not a normal thing. Depression can make you isolated. Depression can make you sad. Depression can make you feel empty. And depression can even bring you suicidal thoughts. It's already fatal when you get the suicidal thoughts. There is a clear difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist. Psychologist is a person who gives you psychotherapy, speech sessions. He will ask you to come on sittings, and he'll have different therapies. But a psychiatrist is a person who gives you medication. He's a doctor. He's a graduated doctor who can give you medication. So when you have a stress, or when you feel depressed, when you feel empty, you can always consult a psychologist. You can go for therapies, You can go for sittings, and you can feel better in a while. I'm sure it's very much worth it. But when you already have a suicidal attempt, there is every greater chance that you might have the next attempt coming. So at that time, it's very serious to consult a psychiatrist, because you need medication, because you need antidepressants. It's very lethal. So better consult a psychiatrist when you already had a failed suicidal attempt. If you feel someone isolated, your normal friends, when they feel isolated from you, when they feel away from the group, when they no more enjoy their normal activity. For example, if you have a person who enjoys eating food a lot, that if you see him not eating properly for days together, like 2 days, 3 days, if you see him not interested in anything, isolated completely, not having a normal routine habits which he usually used to enjoy, you have the responsibility to take care of him or her. You have the responsibility to advise him to meet a psychologist. And if you already see a person, your friend, a family member, completely isolated from the gathering, or completely isolated from his normal routine, and if he sees himself as if he asks you to leave him alone, that doesn't mean you don't need to care about him. He just means you to leave him alone, but he needs the care, he needs the love. You have every responsibility, even if it is you, or even if it is to someone whom you love, you have the responsibility to care. If they ask you to leave you alone, that doesn't mean you can just be careless about them, but you should take them to a psychologist, or if they have an attempted suicide, take them to a psychiatrist first. So what do you think will be the reason for this depression? What do you think will be the reason for a person to end his life? Stressors. Every single stressors which brings you stress, when it gets built up, it becomes depression. At one point, you can't take it anymore. You go to the extent of ending your life. You know one thing which brings a person to that point? Expectations. Over expectations. When you know that you're going to get $100, if you expect it to be $1,000, it's over expectation. You know that you will get 100, be happy with what you have. There are many stressors like online. You have internet. You have phones in each and everyone's hand. Internet, online, cyberbullying. You have the envy. When you have a friend who can afford to buy a new mobile phone and you don't have the money, you get stressed. When you have a car and when your friend buys a brand new sedan, which was your dream for many years, and you can't afford to pay it, you get stressed. Expectations brings you stress, and these stressors, when built up, brings you depression. And when at a point when you can't take it anymore, you're ready to end your life. You know something which brings more stress in anyone? Failure. Don't be afraid of failure. When you fail, you come to know where you are. You understand what mistake you make. When you win, you don't get to know the other possible mistakes. You just win. I don't say that's a wrong thing. When you win, you just have to see the winning side. But when you fail, every time you fail, you learn from it, and that will help somewhere else. Trust me. Sure. When you fail, you get an experience, and you will not repeat it again. When you really feel the failure, when you really wanted something, and when you fail in that, you get a lesson for your life. That's not just a failure, that's a lesson for your life, and that makes you a great person, and that brings you a great success in future. Trust me, one day you'll be successful. What do you think will be the reason for all these stress, depression, suicide, everything? There is no proper way, there is no proper guidance on how to handle the stressors, how to handle a depressed person, how to bring love in the life of a depressed person, how to take care of a person who has already attempted suicide, and there is no proper awareness. That's the point. There is no proper awareness. Failed relationships, parenting, social media, cyberbullying, all these factors brings you stress, depression, and finally it pushes you to a point where you can't take it anymore and you end your life. We are going to speak on parenting. We are going to speak on stress management. We are going to speak on social media awareness. We are going to speak on relationships. We are going to speak on how to handle persons, how to handle your loved ones. Stay tuned for the next video, part 2. This is